Every week the internet has more and more action of drones being combined with different air sports with stunning effect. Well, this week, I guess we found a winner in the Ukraine. Nazary Doroshevic showed off his outstanding drone skills together with a bunch of air sports athletes. He prepared a short stunt video flying among aerobatic pilot Timur Efendi, skydiver Artem Dimid and hot air balloon pirate Marian Brigay. The timing of his shots is spectacular. We have a great combination of air sports news and interviews today from various disciplines and different parts of the planet. My name is Regan Tetlow. Let's jump into our world. Despite the cancellation of this year's Gordon Bennett competition in Poland, the competitors did not hide their equipment in the hangars. Matthias Zeng and Benjamin Eimers from Team Germany set up their new personal flight duration record a few days ago. Matthias and Ben touched down after exceeding a duration of more than 62.5 hours of flight. Their personal best before that flight stood at 37.5 hours, so it is a major improvement. The flight was part of their qualification for Gordon Bennett 2022, which will take place in St. Gallen, Switzerland. They're already qualified for the postponed Coupe du Monde 2021 in Poland. Congratulations, guys. There's only 2 days left until the start of this spectacular Hydroland Acro Games in Italy. This is the second edition of the competition dedicated to aerobatic paragliders. Hydroland Fly Zone is a flight area for paragliders, speed flyers and hang gliders. It stands north of Lake Adro on the border between the provinces of Trento and Brescia. At one end of the large and beautiful Valle di Chiesi, athletes will compete there in various categories: solo compulsory, solo expression and solo announced program. There will also be a place for impressive synchro tasks. All flights will take place over the lake for safety reasons in case of accidents. We'll let you know the results as soon as we get them from the contest jury. We have a new world record in speed skydiving. Belgian pilot Luc Mason beat it during the ISA speed skydiving event in Turk City, Netherlands. In round 6, he accelerated to an unbelievable speed of 506.35 kph. I caught up with Luc to get the details.
Good to see you, my friend. Well, brand new world record in speed skydiving. Tell us, for people watching who don't know about speed skydiving, tell us what it is. How do you compete?
Well, we exit at 4,000 meters and we have 2,256 meters the time to accelerate. And the average 3 fastest seconds above 1,700 meters are the average score, which is the average speed actually during those 3 seconds. That's it, very simple. Get out of the plane, accelerate, and
It's not just the same as a normal head-down flight, though, is it? To get the high speed.
Well, it starts in a curve, you know. You don't go very fast at the beginning. You don't go too steep at the start because otherwise it's very difficult to get it to keep it. So we build it up slowly and try to get at the most steep position just before the end of the zone.
So you've just set 2 consecutive world records at this meet. Tell us what the meet was. It was at Turk, wasn't it?
It was at Turkey, yes. And actually it was not 2 records but 3.
Oh, was it really?
If you do speed skydiving, I think it's very important to be very consistent. You can have very good jumps and very bad jumps just like that, you know. You don't need very much to go wrong to have a bad jump. So consistency is very important. And once you're in the flow and you can find your good angle and you feel good, then it's possible to repeat and have consecutive good jumps, which I did on this meet.
The full-length interview with Luc is now available on our YouTube channel, so don't forget to check it out after the show. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, light sports aviation is struggling, but in Kelsey, Poland, bigger and smaller companies decided to show off their offers during the first and only aviation expo this year. our host Ola Kutz and the Air Sports promotion team visited the event to help promote air sports and women in aviation.
Aviation Expo to jedyne targi lotnicze w tym roku w Polsce. I jest to dowód na to, że branża lotnicza do mało odważnych nie należy. Mimo tego, że chodzi o awiację ultralekką, to sprawa została potraktowana absolutnie poważnie. Zobaczcie.
Tak naprawdę możemy powiedzieć, że jest to druga edycja targów pod nazwą Aviation Expo, natomiast zaczęło się to kilka lat wcześniej. Na początku robiliśmy targi o nazwie Paragiełda. Jak sama nazwa wskazuje, na tej paragiełdzie głównie wystawiali się fanatycy tych sportów paralotniarskich, więc mieliśmy motolotnie, paralotnie, motoparalotnie. Natomiast później te targi ewoluowały do targów lotnictwa lekkiego. Uczestnik wydarzenia ma okazję zarówno przyjrzeć się jakimś nowym trendom w lotnictwie, ale też korzystać z tych konferencji, które mogą być dla niego inspirujące, ciekawe i też poznać ludzi tak naprawdę, którzy uczestniczą w tych panelach jako wykładowcy podczas paneli konferencyjnych. Mamy też okazję spotkać te osoby takie jak kapitanowie linii lotniczych czy pierwsi oficerowie.
Jasno, każdy tutaj załatwia biznesy, prowadzi bardzo poważne czasami rozmowy, dokonuje poważnych transakcji. Ale trochę tak chyba czasami zapominamy w tym wszystkim właśnie o tym elemencie ludzkim, o emocjach. I mając tak wspaniałych mistrzów w Polsce, praktycznie w każdej dyscyplinie lotniczej, baloniarstwo, spadochrony, samoloty, szybowce i tak dalej, my jako Polska, nawet jako kraj, jako firmy polskie, to jest dla mnie wielki znak zapytania i dlatego próbuję to zmienić też razem z całą ekipą super, z którą współpracujemy. Prawie w ogóle tego nie wykorzystujemy w sposób nawet też czysto biznesowy.
Bardzo istotne jest też to, abyśmy cenili swoje różnice, nie rywalizowali ze sobą, bo w moim wypadku wszyscy moi fantastyczni koledzy piloci to są ludzie, którzy mnie wspierają. Czy jestem w Dęblinie, o czym oczywiście dużo nie mogę opowiadać, czy jestem na prywatnym lotnisku, to ci, którzy reprezentują najwyższy poziom, chcą zrobić wszystko, abym ja latała lepiej, a nie gorzej.
Dyskusja o wyższych lotach kobiet nad mężczyznami w świecie lotnictwa ciągle trwa. A tak serio, cudownie, że mogliśmy się tutaj wszyscy spotkać mimo trudnego czasu. Zarażamy wyłącznie pasją do latania. Air Sports Promotion Ola Kutz.
The Drones Champions League is used to travelling around the world, so competing online this season has been very different for the pilots. DCL Media Centre released an interesting video showing how the drone athletes cope with time zone problems.
They now live and race in the same space, but they're still crossing time zones because they're racing around the globe in completely different locations.
So I only had to wake up at like 6, get warmed up, get my gear set up, and then it actually wasn't anywhere near as bad as Vaduz was.
DCL moved all the events to the online platform due to the pandemic restrictions all over the world. DCL officials state that until air transport gets back to normal, they will not organise the normal style physical events. Do you remember Hasan Kaval? This pilot from Turkey with his crazy stunt flights on his paraglider? Well, his latest flight was on a bed. This time Hasan mounted a real-size bed to his wing and took off with his friend's help. In the air, he decided to cover his eyes and take a little nap. I wanted to find out more, so I made contact with the team and I had an interview with Hasan and his teammate Atakin, and we tried to talk about the past and the next aviation stunt ideas.
Last week you were flying with a bed.
Yes, last one with bed.
So where did these ideas come from?
Yani it's I don't know. Just it's sometimes I think about this. I can fly with bed or coach, anyone, and then I built my.
He's trying to say that he just dreams and he makes them come true.
Amazing. How long have you been flying?
Kaç yıldır uçuyorsun diyor.
10 years, I think.
Tell me about the spot. Tell me what it's like, what you have there.
There is a mountain called Babada, and the altitude is around 1,200 meters to 2,000 meters, and just by the sea. And the view is fantastic.
So what was the first stunt flight? What was the first one?
İlk yaptığı neydi diyor. He said, I played backgammon in the sky and smoked shisha.
That was the first one, yeah?
The first
Yes,
one, yes. 1 week after the backgammon, he played Rumi Cube with 4 people in the sky. And this was the first time in the world that someone paraglided with 4 people in the world, and there is no such thing in the world.
And do you build the rigs? You build the systems yourself?
Yes, he built all the system by himself.
Myself.
And he designed everything on his mind.
The rest of this interview can be watched on our YouTube channel. It's worth a look. My last guest this week has been living an adventure in skydiving in his 30 years that most don't come near in a lifetime. From growing up on a parachute centre as a third-generation skydiver to almost losing his life, to accomplishments in the sport which are simply astounding. Please welcome Jarrett F. Martin.
Your life changed dramatically in Hawaii 2009. Was it August 25th?
That's right, yep. I have a special cutaway system where I would, in flight, in midair, I would release my parachute and pull a base parachute out. Unfortunately, the parachute rigging that I had done at the time, had failed. And when I had launched off the mountain, one of the risers prematurely disconnected. And I was, lost integrity of the wing. I was spinning around, low altitude, probably, 200 feet, and not much time to deal with this situation. Do I throw out the base parachute and get more material out there? Do I release myself in hopes that I'll gain the airspeed that I could then deploy the base parachute? It's happening quick. I'm spinning. I'm surprised that this happened. You don't expect. So you're kind of getting all these things together. And I think at the end result, I had attempted to cut away and throw out the base parachute, but the pilot shoot the base parachute. But the release mechanism or the time conflicted, and they had gotten to me with the base parachute deployed, the cutaway system to the original parachute half attached, and it was just an awful mess. And I ended up suffering a lot of injuries. I mean, had you asked me after that explanation of what would the outcome be, I'd be like, oh, that'd be a fatality, surely, But here I am. I survived. I'm a paraplegic, so I'm a wheelchair user, full time, and it's just such a blow to an 18-year-old.
And I remember you once saying, not many people come that close to death, and it does something. It changes you. It changes you. Changes your outlook on life and how you're going to live.
Yes. So I'm thankful to be alive. I feel like I won the lottery, and so and so I take that opportunity, that renewed joy for life. It's ironic because I can remember specifically pretty happy 18-year-old before the accident, but you'd always find me in the airplane and I'd be, just stern, not super loving it, but you find me in the airplane now and I'm like, dude, I'm all grins. This is fun. And this is a good time. Life is meant to be enjoyed. That's, we should, take for granted. And, it's one of those things that I embrace, and I just keep on living and keep on doing things. And no doubt, I got down a few times during the transition, but, I'm thankful for the community and the endurance that I had to just kind of stick with it. And
This was an amazing interview, so please don't forget to watch all of it on our YouTube channel. Airbus have rolled back the curtain on its free-ship S03E program, intended to bring zero-emissions aircraft into service in just 15 years. The liquid hydrogen in jet and turboprop aircraft will be stored and distributed via tanks located behind the rear pressure bulkhead. In its presentation, Airbus noted that hydrogen can be used to create electricity through fuel cells, and that it would use that as a source to power the electric motors. Urban air mobility company Velocopter announced on Wednesday that it is now selling tickets for piloted air taxi flights in its Velocity electric aircraft. Germany-based Velocopter is limiting its initial offering to 1,000 slots. The €300 tickets can be reserved or a 10% deposit and are good for a 15-minute flight scheduled within the first 12 months after the commercial launch. The Velocity is expected to have a range of 35 kilometers and a top airspeed of 110 kilometers an hour. So €300 for a ride? Good value or expensive? Leave us a comment below, guys. And now it's time for our Hero of the Week. On the 18th of September 1928, the Graf Zeppelin airship made its first flight at Friedrichshafen, Germany. It was constructed on a lightweight metal structure covered by a fabric envelope. It was almost 800 feet long and contained 12 hydrogen-fueled tanks, workspaces and crew quarters. During the next 9 years, Graf Zeppelin made 590 flights, including an around-the-world flight, and carried more than 13,000 passengers. It is estimated that it flew more than 1 million miles. After the Hindenburg accident, it was decided to replace the hydrogen buoyancy gas with non-flammable helium. On the 21st of September 1964, the first prototype of the North American Valkyrie took off from Edwards Air Force Base, California, USA. The XB-70 had a maximum speed of Mach 3.1, which is about 3,300 kilometers per hour. The first Valkyrie made 83 flights with a total of 160 hours, and now it is on display at the National Museum of the United States Air Force. On the 21st of September 1937, Jackie Cochran flew the SEV-1XP aircraft over a 3-kilometer course at Detroit Wayne County Airport, setting up a speed world record in 6 passes with an average speed of 470 kilometers per hour. For this and her other accomplishments, Ms. Cochran was awarded the Harmon International Aviatrix Trophy by Mrs. Franklin D. Roosevelt. On September the 27th, 1910, Gio Chavez died. He was a Peruvian aviator. At a young age, he achieved fame for his aeronautical feats, including altitude record flights in France. He died in 1910 after a heavy wind broke the wings of his fragile airplane, the Blériot 11, falling from a 20-meter height after achieving the first air crossing of the Alps. On the 23rd of September 1913, Roland Garros, French aviator pioneer, gained fame for making the first non-stop flight across the Mediterranean Sea from the south of France to Tunisia. The flight lasted nearly 8 hours, during which Garros had to solve 2 engine malfunctions. The following year, Garros joined the French army at the outbreak of World War I. That's it for today. Our email news@airsportspromotion.com and our new platform airsportsfan.com are still open for you. So don't forget to write to us or visit our website. You can also contact me directly on Twitter. So we'll see you next week, and don't forget to stay safe and keep your eyes on the skies.